You got an album coming though, right?
Yes, sir. I do. Sucka Repellent.
Sucka Repellent. What was the recording process behind that? And is like the history of the Bay involved in that?
Well, the history of the Bay is involved in like everything I do because I represent this culture in my music, and I rap with some of these dudes. So on the album, I got Spice One, I got Selsky, I got Hustler.
Okay.
I got a Selsky beat, which is even crazier. And it's just, that's my vibe. A lot of times people hear my music and they say, oh, this sounds like some old school, like, but in a good way. And that's just the vibe I'm on. And then I'm definitely always rapping about graffiti. There's little graffiti references in all my work. My artwork for the album is always graffiti inspired. But that album is just me getting in the lab with some dope beats and just knocking them out. And the concept kind of came together. I was listening to the songs and I was like, man, I'm talking a lot about haters and suckers on here. So it just kind of became like the idea of Sucka Repellent is like staying away from haters. Like, I don't want anything to do with you, man.
Yeah.
Like they say success is the best revenge. I ain't even thinking about revenge. I'm just thinking about the success part. I just don't want anything to do with like sucker-like behavior. And a lot of times in my music, like, to keep it real, some people know me as like a conscious rapper. I don't necessarily run around with that title, but I still maintain that because I want to be a good example. And I want to just provide like a positive image for people of like, you know, oh, this is some fly stuff that I could look up to, but he's also not talking about something that's hella ignorant or hella fake or phony. You know what I'm saying?
How important is the substance, how important is the substance and how important is the balance too of being able to have fun, but also I want to get a message across and be taken serious?
It's all balance. It's all balance because that's kind of why I shifted away from that like moniker of a conscious rapper, because the people I really want to reach, they're not going out and listening to like Public Enemy. They're listening to Mac Dre and like, but it's all game. So I can rap some over a dope beat that slaps and say some fly shit and say some intelligent shit and have you bobbing your head to it and have you having fun and have it be something I can perform. But if you really break down what I'm saying something positive, or I'm encouraging you to think, or I might be throwing little jabs here and there at some of the powers that be or some of these things that go on in the system. But I'm not just hitting people over the head with my message because I want it to be digestible. You know what I mean?
And how important is the game? You feel me? You speak of the Bay Area and the game that you've been laced with. So how important is it to you to lace your listeners?
It's what we were talking about, man. That's like that's what the flavor of the Bay out here is like. And that knowledge, the value of knowledge of like, oh, you ain't heard about this. Because the more you know, the more power you have. So the more you understand how the music industry works, the more money you can get out of it. The more money you can get, the more you understand how to use your money, the more you can increase your chances of survival and help other people do the same thing. And it's all game. Like, that's something and it's all life. It's the game of life. Like when we say chess, not checkers, it's really about think about your next move and make your next move your best move. Don't just go jump around the board. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's like also another heavy theme on the album, and it does tie back into this whole history of the Bay concept, because I feel like in a way, it's kind of what you asked me about earlier about the changes in the Bay. Some of this stuff has just been kind of like we've been losing our identity a little bit. There might be a certain sound of the beats coming out of here and a certain style, but like in terms of like what makes a Bay Area rap cat a Bay Area rap cat is kind of losing that identity.
Yeah, we're losing the sauce a little bit.
Yeah, it's becoming a little cookie cutter. There's like a lot of Detroit influence, which is dope. There's a lot of LA influence, which is dope. There's a lot of South influence, which is dope, but like, man, I feel like through this platform, I can influence some of these younger cats to go back to our roots a little more.
And be prideful of this history.
Yeah.
That's how you make me feel, bro. Like,
Right
just
on.
in this pilot episode, I just have to say, I'm sitting next to you. I'm not watching it on a screen, so I feel your energy. And it just makes me even more prideful of just being a nigga from the Bay, being a nigga from the city, but also spending time in the East Bay, because it's like, as a San Francisco native, I didn't appreciate the East Bay at one point.
Yeah.
Until I got older, and I'm just like, it's a lot of the same shit going on.
Yeah.
We just kind of blind to it if you've never been there. If you've never spent time, if you never shook hands with nobody, if you never did business with nobody over there, it's kind of a foreign territory. But from what you're saying, it's like we are more alike than we think.
Yeah, and I feel like Earth is my turf now, man.
Talk about it.
I be in Hayward, I be in San Ho, I be in Richmond, I be in Sacramento, I be wiggling. It's like I was saying earlier, like if you're a rapper and you're not taking advantage of all these different markets that are within a 20, 30-minute drive from you, you're tripping. Like get off the block, man. Go out there and shake hands and kiss babies, man. Go wiggle.
Campaign, man.
Go campaign, man.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah.
You got a date? Did you mention the name at all?
Sucka Repellent, September 20th.
Talk about it.
September 20th, a release party. More details to be announced October 7th at Public Works in San Francisco.
Okay.
Sucka Repellent is going down.
For sure.